What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today is Tuesday, but you might be watching this on a Wednesday. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this. Either way, don't know how sales been for you guys, but lately it's been kind of up for me. I ran out of envelopes this morning. Luckily, they ended up coming in today, but I don't know. And I told myself I wasn't gonna let myself run out again and happen again. It's really annoying, and I can't be mad at nobody but myself. But I got a lot of stuff to restock. I got a lot of inventory. A lot that I gotta kind of go through. Way too much shit. So as I begin to restock, figured I'd talk about a few things. And so one of the things I wanted to do was just going through some of these groups. One of the things I noticed is that there's a lot of questions that the answers seem obvious to me, right? But these are legitimate questions from people who just don't know or have any idea yet because they don't have the experience selling on eBay or whatever platforms, but it's usually eBay. And so I thought maybe one of the things I'll try to do, and we'll see if it gets traction or not, is, and I'm not going to really show these people's information because some of the groups are private, and so I won't put it up on the screen, but I thought it might be useful to make videos based on these questions and maybe going through some of the answers, but also giving my opinion on it. Because some of the answers I agree with, some of it I disagree with, some of it I just don't like the approach sometimes that people take. And I do know that sometimes you guys, maybe you don't want to ask these questions in some of the groups because of this, right? Because you don't want to look stupid, or you don't want people to give you a rude answer. And so some people might not answer the questions. And sometimes you don't want to have to do the search for whatever reason, maybe just easier to listen. So today, first question we're going to start off with is a question that a user asked, or a member of a group asked. And if you guys want to join these groups, you can if you ain't already a member. But I think this one is selling on eBay tips. Yeah, selling on eBay tips. That's the name of the group. And so here's the question. The member says, "Hi everyone, I have a small dilemma I'm not sure how to resolve. I sent an item a few days back, and today the buyer opens a request saying they still want the item, but it hasn't arrived. In the message for the request, they said their address didn't go through right and provided another address. The only options I have are update tracking, message buyer, and refund them. I know I did my part sending to address provided, but I'm not sure how to resolve this for them without just refunding. Any advice would be greatly appreciated." And now going through the answers, some people didn't give the right answer. Some people gave them the right answer. So the answer to this question is always going to be, number one, never change an address for a buyer, period. Once you do that, you lose your seller protection from eBay. So if there's an issue, if a buyer messages you and say, "Hey, I moved," or "Hey, this happened, but here's the new address," don't change it. Oftentimes, this is part of a scam. Not all the time, but sometimes it can be part of a scam. But either way, once you go in and change that address, you lose your seller protection. Okay, so you can go through all the forums, you can go through the eBay policies or whatever. But here's one thing I do know. Besides the fact that there are scams out there, if that buyer wants to get that item in and then put in that they didn't receive it, you may have a hard time fighting with eBay and getting them to cover you, despite the item being marked as delivered because you changed that address. Now eBay does allow sellers to change the address, but just know that if you do, you're taking a risk, man, because if there's something fishy going on the other end, or even if there ain't and there's an issue, then you could be out of whatever amount that item was worth and that shipping cost. So under no circumstances do you change that address, okay? If that buyer has an issue, you message them back, you say, "Hey, I can't change this address. However, I'm going to cancel the order, and if you would like, you can repurchase the item after you change it to the address that you would like for the item to be shipped to." Something to that effect. That's usually what I do. And I can tell you from experience not to do it because I've done it. And I've done it many times with no issues in the past. But it did come back to bite me in the ass one time. And I was SOL, man. eBay didn't cover me. So don't change the address. Cancel the order. Have the buyer repurchase the item. Look, if they want it that bad, on the times that I had the buyers repurchase, 9 times out of 10 they did repurchase the item, and that's how I knew it wasn't no BS. If somebody really wanted, they're gonna repurchase it. It's no biggie, right? All right, so let's move on to the next thing. All right, so here's a good one for y'all. This member asks, "Hello, what is the best YouTube video to watch as a beginner Canadian seller posting on US eBay?" I know all y'all got some opinions about that, right? I'm gonna read to y'all what some of the comments say. So this would be interesting. There's only 9 comments right now. This was posted like 3 hours ago. One member said, "I like daily refinement content," and another member commented, "Daily refinement is good if you are going after that market like the other 100,000 people." Talking about the clothing market. Another member said, "Crazy NY driver. He focuses on eBay policy, which you will need to know. For new people, I think it is better to hire a professional VA." Yeah, I don't know about that. A lot of us US resellers on YouTube, people do not know how to write. A lot of us US resellers on YouTube, Rally Roots, have loads of videos with beginner style content, RE photos, packaging, etc. The only 3 I see in this post so far, and it's a fairly new post, I'm sure more people will post, is Daily Refinement, Crazy NY Driver, and Rally Roots. As far as this person stating that for new people, I think it's better to hire a professional VA, that's not good advice at all. Don't hire a VA. Even if you're not new, you may not need to hire a VA. I'm actually thinking about getting a VA, but I don't know. Either way, if you're new, you need to learn the ropes through experience. Experiential knowledge is the best knowledge, okay? Don't look for hiring nobody. Learn the policies, learn the processes, refine your processes. You should know exactly how everything should be before you go trying to hire somebody else to do it. Now, as far as my opinion on resellers to watch, Daily Refinement's a good one, despite what people say. I know a lot of people say a lot of things, but the man provides solid content, and if you're just a beginner, I think you can find a lot in his content that can help you out. Take the good with the bad. If it applies to you, use it, and if it don't, then it won't. But there's nothing wrong with saying have the most efficient systems, do as much research as you can, only buy things that sell. Like that's just solid information, and I can't disagree with that. You know what I mean? So I think he's good. Crazy NY Driver, I've heard of him. I don't think I've ever watched his channel, so I can't say anything about that. Rally Roots, watched a few of their videos. They do got some solid content. Really haven't watched them anytime recently, but there's a couple others that I would recommend myself. And one is Flipping Ain't Easy. You can check out his channel. That is John and his wife Jenna. They both resell on eBay. Solid dude. Seems like real stand-up guy, right? Solid content, and it's just eBay content. He has tutorial videos, he has discussions, he has lives. I want to say his lives are Monday and Friday. I'm not sure about Wednesdays, but I know Monday and Fridays, and he has a lot of participation in those lives. So if you just want some good solid information as a new person, you can join that channel or subscribe to that channel. Find a lot of good information, and you can interact with that community, and there's a lot of people that will be more than happy to answer your questions. So Flipping Ain't Easy is one. Another one that I really like, that I don't sell clothes, but if you sell clothes, especially men's clothes, I want to say his channel name is Thrift a Life. I don't think he resells anymore. He kind of is doing some traveling stuff. However, he has a lot of content when it comes to men's clothing, what the top brands are. He has like this free manifesto thing. It's called Thrift a Life. Really good content. I think if you want to sell clothes, especially men's clothes, that would be a nice channel for you to check out as a new seller. Hell, even if you ain't new, I think you can learn a lot. I watch this channel just sometimes I like to learn stuff. Even though I'm not doing it, I like to see if there's something I can learn. So I think that's a good channel. If you're into collectibles and things like that, I would say Auction Professor. He has a good channel, a lot of good content related to those things. Postcards, stuff like that. Who else? And I think the other one is Primetime Picker. I'm sorry, the name of the channel is Primetime Treasure Hunter. He has a really good channel too, very informative, a lot of good content on there, so check that one out. Another good one is Hustle and Hooks. I don't know if they've been posting a lot lately. Let me see. Last video was a month ago. They've been kind of busy, I guess, but they got some solid info on there. So there's a few. It just depends on what you into. I kind of follow a lot of them. I like to share, I like the different information from different people that sell different things coming from different platforms. So those are all solid channels, in my opinion, to watch, that you'll get quality info, not a bunch of fluff, not a bunch of BS, real good stuff. Okay, here's one, and you can tell this person's kind of new. So they say, buyer claims sent wrong item for return reason. So apparently there's a return, and the buyer said that the return reason is that wrong item was sent. So the member of the group asked, who pays the return shipping? Seems like an obvious answer, but apparently it's not, or this member wouldn't be answering this question or asking this question, right? And of course, people say you do. They are claiming you made a mistake. Thanks guys, I sent the correct item, but that's what the buyer put as the reason. That's a hard one to beat too. Even if you know that you sent the right item, it's going to be hard to prove that to eBay. It's going to be hard to prove that. If you really sent the wrong item, of course you got to fix it. You got to make it right. Either send them another one that's the right item, or refund them, or whatever, right? But it's going to be on you regardless. If you know you sent the right item, if you know for sure, 100% for sure, you sent the right one and they're still saying it's the wrong one, all you can do is say, hey, you got to return it. Don't do no partials. Don't negotiate with them. Don't refund them. I feel like, for me personally, if I'm doubtful as to whether I did or not, and I'm not sure, I'll make them return it anyway. Because I'm like, I can't remember, If I know for sure I messed up, then I'm going to fix it. But if I ain't sure, I just have them return it. But no matter what, it's on you. Just going to have to eat at least at the very minimum, eat the return shipping. And hopefully you really did send the wrong item and you get it back. Because if you sent the right item and they send you something else back, they already kind of established that you sent the wrong item. And so if you got a trickster on your hands, then you kind of SOL there. However, the good thing is things like that don't happen too often. So you really don't have to worry too much about it. But it's just kind of one of those things where if you ain't sure, just have them send it back. And hopefully they send you back what you sent them. But 9 times out of 10, it's a good chance you might have made a mistake. Okay, here's a good one. And it's probably a question that a lot of people ask. And in some ways, I feel like in some ways it's kind of legit, but in some ways it's a lazy question, okay? But the member asks, hello everyone, how can I find better products and interact more? What are your recommendations? Guys, yeah, I guess it's a legit question. As of right now, there's only a few comments on this one. One says, we are headed into Q4, so you might want to think about the upcoming holidays. Another says, research eBay's trending and popular categories. Use Terapeak tool. And another one says, use Zeek Analytics to find what are selling hot, and you can source some of these. I guess those are legit answers, right? If you know, you probably don't really know how to. You definitely ain't going to use Zeek Analytics. If you're a new seller on eBay, Zeek Analytics is probably for when you get a little bit more experience. Using Terapeak, I mean, if you knew, you probably won't know how to navigate it much, but there's videos on how to use both of those things, Zeek and Terapeak. However, my question as to how you can find better products, for one, that's such a general question. What type of products? You got to narrow that down. That's a hard question to answer because it's so open. So if you're looking for something to sell, first you have to be very specific about what you are interested in selling. So don't just ask a person, or don't put it in a group, guys. Hey, what do you think I should sell? What's a good product to sell? You're going to get 1,000 answers. And maybe some of the stuff you can get, you can't. Maybe it just depends, right? Have an idea of what types of items you want to sell, you know? Then you can ask the question like, hey, what type of toys do good in Q4? Hey, what type of men's clothing sell? What type of men's shirt? You want to get more specific. Just depends on what you're trying to sell. Don't ask such an open-ended question because there's just so many answers, and you might not and some of those answers might not even be practical for you, right? So as far as what type of products you should sell, especially being new, I think the best type of products to sell, starting out as a new person selling on eBay, are the products in your home that you don't need or want anymore. Those, because it gets you familiar with the selling process. And you might even learn that you might not like listing certain things or dealing with certain things or researching certain things. So maybe you got a collectible, and maybe you got some clothing, and maybe you got some hard goods, and after listing those things and dealing with the types of issues and some electronics, right? And having a different customer service, maybe after a while you're like, you know what? I ain't trying to deal with the electronic thing because I got to test too much. Or you know what? The clothes thing is just too many returns. Just like, you won't know. And this right here saves you money because you're not even going out to buy stuff. You can even get stuff from friends and family who might not want something. And if you see that it is sellable, in sellable condition, and it's worth actually selling, it's just free experience at that point. And then you can kind of narrow down what you like to sell. There's nothing wrong with selling specific types of items, and there's nothing wrong with selling a little bit of everything, but you have to know exactly what it is you want to sell. So don't ask the open-ended question of what types of products sell, what's good to sell. Have an idea of what you want to sell and be more specific. What kind of toys do you guys think like move this time of year, or what kind of men's clothing, or what, like I just said, be a little more specific if you ask those type of questions, because then you can get a more targeted answer that might be a little more practical and apply a little bit more to your situation. Just keep that in mind. All right, we're going to do one more, and I think this is a good one because there's a lot of comments on it, and I do got some thoughts about this too. So the poster said, took me a month, but I finally listed 100 items in 3 days. My secret is to do it first thing in the morning. So let's look at some of the comments real quick. So here's some of the comments. 100 items in 3 days. Since you're listing so many, what is your lowest ROI? Just out of curiosity, because I find products, but not many with 30%. I usually find products between 15 and 25%. No less than 100%. Sold a pair of dance clothes last night for $75 that I sourced for $8. This person says, I mostly buy from Amazon, return bin stores, barcodes, and brand recognition are a must. This person said, I really didn't get what a problem to upload a CSV files. It took me 10 minutes to upload 162 listings yesterday. And I don't know if you guys know that, but you can use a CSV file to create drafts in eBay. I've never done it, but you can do it. Totally agree. I work 12-hour shifts. I started getting up an hour early to do picks and listings. It's amazing how motivated you are in the AM. I have done 200 in 3 days and it killed me. Never again. I found that my clothes take the longest to list. Another person said, I do constant 60 to 100 a day. It's such a grind. Some days I have extra in to help with the work. I guess they saying they have extra help. Another person said, I did 10 yesterday and felt accomplished. And another person said, I thought I was a rock star at 40, but I'm just selling my own clothes. LOL. Congratulations. So, a lot of question. I see this question a lot, whether it be in groups or on YouTube video comments. People asking how many should they list a day, and so on and so forth. Here's what I'm going to say, and I've been through the whole thing of trying to list this amount a day and trying to do this and that. I would say this for a number of reasons. One, the stress and the anxiety, and you can burn yourself out. Okay, well, I guess that's 3 things: stress, anxiety, and you can burn yourself out. Don't try to do too much too fast. Okay, look, on eBay as of right now, and this is only because I sell on other platforms. On eBay right now, I might create drafts and schedule them to go out for up to 1 to 2 weeks in advance, and I only usually do 3 to 5 items a day. And because of that, I still can get up to 10 sales a day. So I'm getting almost what's that? Triple? Depends on the day, right? Some days I might only get 5 or 6 or so, but I'm always getting more than I'm listing. But this is every day they going out. What I would recommend to a new seller, don't worry about how many items to list a day. If you can get the inventory first and good inventory that sells, at least try to do 1 a day. 1 a day. Get used to the process. Have you a system in place. I know you might say 1 a day, I can do more than that. But if you kind of new, 1 a day is good to start off with. If you're not new, but you're not really experienced either, just look, don't kill yourself. Don't stress yourself out. Set a goal that you can handle and do that until it becomes easy. For instance, maybe you can do 25 a day, but maybe you can only do that for a couple weeks or a month. And after a while, either maybe you can't get the inventory, or maybe you get stressed out, or maybe it's just too much anxiety and too much pressure. And maybe at some point you just start getting burnt. Like, it's not worth it. It would be better off for you to list 3 to 5 a day. Schedule the rest, right? You can do a draft bank if you want, like they teach over at Daily Refinement. Anything is cool, but I would say that the most important thing is consistency, not quantity. It would be consistency and quality. The quality of your product and the quality of your listing. Focus on those things. Don't focus on, you might get 100 up in a couple days or 3 days, but what types of listings are those? Are those quality listings? Are they quality items? Or did you just put 100 items of garbage in your store? Or did you put 100 items of like half-ass listings in your store? Do not worry about how many listings a day you need to do. Just be consistent. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10. Be consistent. Do enough that you can handle. And then maybe a little less than that at first if you're just starting out. So if you feel like you can handle 10 a day, do 5. Do 3 to 5. If you feel like, man, I can get 10 a day, but maybe that you might not be able to stay consistent in the long term with that. But 3 to 5, you can stay consistent with, and then you might do a couple extra. But always just, especially since eBay made it to where you can schedule listings for free now, always schedule your listings out. So even if you do that 15 or 20 or 25 that day, that's fine, but don't make them all live the same day. So for instance, let's just use this number because it's kind of a whole number, right? 21. Let's say you do 21 listings today. Well, you can send them all live today, or you can schedule them out over a week. 3 listings live a day. That's 7 days. 21 listings. Now you got a whole week. If something goes wrong, you cool. If you want to do extras for Draft Bank, you can. But even if you don't, you can start working on your next week's worth of listings, and you don't even have to do them all in one day. Now you got time to do some other things. So I would suggest that you do something like that, where you schedule out listings at least a week in advance, even if it's only 3, 4, 5 or so. That consistency is going to bring you sales, especially as your store grows. Trust me. What I'm telling you, I do it in my own store all the time, dude. And I get like 2, 3 times the sales every day. Well, almost every day. I'll show you this real quick. This is my traffic bar. You see how consistent that is? Now, I really can't explain these dips, but you see how that bar is? It's pretty even. And it's almost always even like that. Almost always. Now, a lot of my numbers are down. I don't know why, but my sales been up. My sales are up 32%. So that's despite my impressions being down. However, my page views are up. My quantity sold are up. And my conversion rate is down a little bit, but I mean, that kind of really don't matter. My promoted, I almost always have a 70-30 split on that. And I'm down in these areas, which I really don't like, so I might have to take a look at that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you like the consistency of the traffic and everything, and that's why that's important. And so every day, as of right now, I have 5 sales. Yesterday, I had 10. And that's only with listing 3 a day though. I only have 3 go live a day. I got them scheduled right now. I think I got to do some more. As of right now, I have, I think my last 3 actually went live today that I had from last week. So my last 3 went live today. I got 1 in there right now, but tomorrow I'll probably go ahead, do another week's worth, get them out the way, schedule them. Then I'm done as far as that part goes with my eBay for the week. And then I focus on Amazon and Walmart. But consistency is key, guys. Consistency. Don't worry about how many listings you should get up a day. Just be consistent. Do a number that is easy for you to do. And then when it becomes way too easy, maybe you can add more when it's just like, oh yeah, this 3-5 a day. I can do more than that now. But don't put that burden on yourself. That's when you start taking the joy out of like what you're doing. You know, we do this because we want freedom and we want to be able to have a sense of control over our life and schedule and balance. And, you know, putting that type of pressure on yourself, just kind of, you might as well just go ahead and work a job, right? And deal with that crap. But anyway, those are my answers to those things that those people posted. That's what I would tell somebody. If you got something different to say, if you got some other channels that are good to watch, because I know I didn't mention them all. There's a lot that I watched that I didn't even mention, and it was for no particular reason. Drop them in the comments below. Also, there's going to be a couple videos on the screen that you can check out if you want to learn more and support the channel. And also, if you want to learn more, you can tap in with me in the group. The link is probably going to be in the description down below. Tap in with me there, and I can answer any of your other questions more specifically if you need me to. But for now, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell.